All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining in. We'll let a couple people sign in here. We got a few people. Bob, we can hear you, Bob, but you can't hear us. So we're having some technical difficulties right now. So I'm going to hold this up for Bob and tell Bob, just say thank you, say your piece, and then you can sign out. Perfect. Perfect. Bob and I are going to write notes to each other. Hopefully I can hear him, but he can't hear us. So
Awesome.
we can hear you.
That's okay.
That's it. So for those who don't know, Bob was the original artist for Depowered. We wanted to have him on tonight to talk about the book, but we're having some technical difficulties. He did the first 7 pages of the book. You can't hear this. And then, schedules just got off. We weren't able to complete it. So just wanted to invite him on today. Hopefully have some of the other team on today. But yes, Bob is the co-creator of the book. He did the amazing first cover here. He did the logo, which is, his best contribution as well. He does awesome logos. Bob is available for illustration work. He is by Ornelas Art. We can put that in the chat later. But yeah, wanted to have him on to talk about the book, but obviously technical difficulties. Again, I can hear him, but he can't hear me. So but yeah. He's trying to figure it out. But yes, Bob is the amazing artist. He did most of the character designs for the book. Some of our other artists who hopefully will check in here, John Boren, Ronaldo Lay, they did some other, but Bob really is the co-creator of the book. We started the book together, designed the characters, worked on that first script together, kind of really hammered out the story, a lot of the character designs, especially Dax. Obviously, he's the main character of the story for Depowered. So that was a huge contribution. So Bob, in all ways, is the co-creator of this book. So we wanted to have him on today. But unfortunately, again, he can't hear me, even though I wonder if he knows that we actually can hear him over there. So we appreciate you coming on, Bob, even in silent form. And as a matter of fact, if you watch this afterwards, maybe it's better when you can't talk. But thanks, Bob. So that was Bob Gar. But yeah, sorry things didn't work out as we had hoped, but we'll see you later. We appreciate him trying to come on here real quick. I know he's got to go and cook dinner for the family and everything. But yeah, again, we just funded. I'm hesitant to state that because things happen. As soon as we funded, we lost a backer, but that happens along the way. But here in the last 24 hours, coming up on the last 24 hours, we were able to fund. So we are very excited about that. Yes, Silent Bob is already copyrighted, I believe, but that's okay. We had Silent Bob Part 2. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, again, it ties in with the whole theme. We've had some struggles with Depowered. This is the 4th attempt to fund a book. We never really got there with issue 1, but I'm so glad that we powered through it because it just makes days like today even more special. But I do want to share my screen. Let me share my screen. And for anybody who's watching this afterwards, again, we are going until 9 o'clock, March 10th. So if you're watching this after we go off the air or Friday morning. Oops. Yeah, that's we are going until Friday night. So we are going to share this screen here. It's a little bit tall. So yeah, there we are. We're at 100% funding. I hold my breath as I say that because we've already had a little bit of a hiccup there, but yeah, let's hope we can continue that. Andrew in the chat, he's been a huge supporter of us since pretty much day one back in the Kingbone Press days. So, but again, fitting that we would have technical difficulties as we've had a lot of difficulties with Depowered, getting it to where it needs to be. So I'm so happy to have this one funded. This will set us up for issue 3. Ronaldo's already ready to do the art. The script, the first draft is done. As soon as this Kickstarter is over, we can get that over to editor Chuck Pino, and then we can get the 3rd chapter going and the book finished. We hope to launch probably summerish, chapter 3 and the trade. We'll see where it goes from there. There could be a planned sequel, but I hopefully it's a nice short story miniseries for you all. And again, we appreciate all those who backed and came out and supported for Depowered. It's had its issues, but I'm so glad that we made it. You see the awesome covers down here by longtime friend Nick Brokenshire, the art by Ronaldo and Don Cardenas, and then the art and colors here by John Boren. I was hoping John would be able to join us today to talk about his contribution. John did a pinup based on a character in the first issue, and I just really enjoyed his work so much. It really sparked some of the background story for this character in my mind. So if you've read the first issue, you'll know who I'm talking about. But for everybody else, we'll leave that as a surprise. But then we had this is actually, we did a variant for issue 1 that's available. We haven't had a ton of backers for this, so it's going to be a low print run, so it might be one you want to pick up. But David Jackson does these awesome action figure. Maybe I can zoom in a little here. He does these awesome action figure. Let me shrink that. Variants, and so we did that for issue. So that's actually issue 1, and then Chris Thomas, my new friend, met him on Facebook. He's in a lot of the groups that I'm in for comic books. He was going to do a pinup for this book, but just loved his Herculean Dax here, so we made that into a variant cover. Really enjoyed that. So look at all these awesome covers we have here. Back up to Nick's. I'm just so happy to see the series end. I was, pretty nervous throughout this campaign. Didn't want to see another stumble for Depowered here. It really would take the wind out of our sails. But again, Ronaldo's all lined up. Pretty sure Don's going to be able to come back in color. We'll get Bob involved in some way. We already have, Ronaldo lined up for the cover on the final issue, and hopefully, fingers crossed, an awesome variant cover as well. You see the large team we have here for Depowered. So, that's what I wanted to talk to some of the other team today that wasn't able to make it. Glad Bob was able to pop in for a little bit. And yeah, I also invited Dan as well. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it, but of course we don't want to, end a celebration stream. As again, right now we're sitting at exactly the funding we need to be at. So obviously, Drumsticks of Doom is a huge part of this. So many supporters came back out. We had 269 backers for the first issue. We've had dozens and dozens. Dan and I have, Dan more than me, but I've done a few conventions. The book is just selling so well. It's just so exciting to see how many people are excited for heavy metal books. And, this issue obviously is no different. We've had a ton of backers for Drumsticks of Doom. And, this one is no different. Obviously, it's a big reason why this is only the second time in my 13 year career I've been over 200 backers on a crowdfunding. 2 times we're almost there, and then again this is the second time, and Drumsticks of Doom was the first. So it's great. We're seeing a ton of new backers. That's amazing. A lot of people coming in, getting all 3 issues. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries, so we're all set up for the finale. Now that we're funded, this puts us in a great position to get, to be able to pay all of our, artists, cover artists. We've got 2 great covers coming up for that. I will pull one of them up here if I can get it going. Yeah, let's do a little preview of that. If you haven't seen it yet, we got Ryan Villa awesome interior artist. We'll see his work down here, who did an awesome, side story-ish dream sequence that ties into the story. Ryan is just amazing. Again, found his work through the book Killaroo, an Australian book from Darren Zen Close out in Australia. Just loved his work. Been following him online for a while and just trying to find a way to work with him. So glad he was able to do that. And let's pull it up if I can get it going. Sorry, it's taking a second to load here. Oh, hey, Eric, thanks so much. Yes, we made it twice. So nice. We did it twice. We funded twice in the same day. Who else can say that, right? But here is the awesome cover. Hopefully you can see that. Doesn't look like it is working. So let me stop sharing my screen. Then go back to sharing this screen. Womp, womp, womp. If you haven't seen it yet, this is the cover for issue 4. For those who don't know, I definitely had a specific vision for what I wanted the art to look like on the first cover. It is an homage to a Manowar cover. Manowar is a big inspiration for the book. They're over the top lyrics, and I didn't plan to do the album cover homages until I approached Kelly Williams about issue 2, and he did the amazing Dio, Holy Diver, and then I actually had, funny enough, Ryan actually completed this one first, and it was going to be the variant for this issue, but we ended up extending the story. We went to 4 issues for this first arc, and then obviously Dan came back in, and you've seen Dan's cover in the Kickstarter here. He obviously did an amazing job with that too. So we kind of did them out of order, but now it's the theme kind of fell into place. All of the standard issues are variants. This is, oops, sorry, I'm banging my headset here. For you heavy metal fans out there, you'll probably recognize this one right away. This is an homage to one of the best Megadeth albums, Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? And again, Ryan did an amazing job. Just said, hey, he kind of threw out some ideas he had, and maybe we'll probably end up using those in the future as well. And I said, well, if we're going to do an homage, I really want to do Peace Sells. And if you could kind of create this character, which we won't spoil, we'll talk a little bit about that in issue 4. If you could get this business looking person in a pinstripe suit. And that was really the only direction I gave him. All this background stuff is all 100% Ryan. He loves the chicken fat, the noodling in the background, and he just killed it. He went nuts. But yeah, just wanted to share that with y'all. So that'll be the standard cover for issue 4 if you haven't seen it. And boy, is it awesome. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can get to 269 on this one too, Eric, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we still got a ways to go here. We could use some padding. Obviously, the real goal, for anybody watching or again, anybody who's seeing this before it ends, 9 p.m. Central on Friday, March 10th. So about 26 hours from this going live. Let's see if we can zoom in. Not as much as I wanted to, but you can check it out on the Kickstarter. This is the real goal. We wanted to add a little bit of incentive to get there. We always set the goal a little bit lower than we need to, just to make sure, like as we're seeing now, sometimes it can be hard to reach your minimum funding. And, but if we can get to 6,000, again, that really sets us up. We can print more books. Again, if you haven't heard, I don't make anything off the books. My goal is to get product out there. So, all these campaigns have helped me get books into contributors' hands and in my hands to sell at conventions and in stores. But I do try to pay my art team their requested fee for their services, whatever they're doing. I have some amazing peers and friends, including you see my logo shirt here, which Bob did for me when the company started. So I do have some amazing friends who will work with me. But again, when it's pertinent, I want to pay the artists I work with. So that being said, this sets us up to be able to pay the teams for both books for the next book, and then hopefully recoup any funds that we haven't through the three, well, in Depowered's case the 3 issues, and then in Drumstick's case the 4 issues. So again, this $6,000-$6,500 would really set us up for that. We could put some extra metal covers to get out there. Those have been really popular. Those have been great for the campaign. We have plenty of the Kelly Williams covers, only a few of the Maria Wolf covers left up here. But yeah, if you haven't seen these are amazing. Holy cow. You can see me in the video, but yeah, we thank everybody for tuning in today. Again, just wanted to have a little celebration. I was hoping to chat with some of the team, but last minute that happens. Oh, and all of a sudden all of your comments are coming in. That's funny. They came in a little bit late on this side. Stop screen share. So yeah, you see my messy office back here. Sorry, got a lot of comics I need to put away. We got our Bad Batch we got our Bad Batch Lego back there as well too. So we appreciate everyone who tunes in live. Again, if you're watching this after, we do have until 9 o'clock Central Time to get this even more funded. We're right at 5,500 right now. Each campaign, every once in a while you get a couple of people whose credit cards bounce or they're not able to fulfill their pledge. So that happens too. Just a little peek behind the curtains. And I don't say any of this to cry for John or and his company. We're doing just fine. But every little dollar helps me pay my artists on team, and that's really what I want to do. When I restarted Part-Time Comics, I wanted to commit to that. These people are working very hard on these books. They're spending their time. A lot of the people I work with are full-time working artists, and I want to be able to pay them on time, get them their rates that they request, and get the pages in. So that is what I'm dedicated to doing and continuing to do. So I really appreciate, again, every dollar counts and goes right back into these books. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's participation in the chat too, Andrew, Eric. Yeah, the metal covers are really fun. Oh, thank you. I hadn't realized you had gotten those, but yeah. And again, with the next campaign, we'll be doing issue 3 in metal. The problem with the metal covers is you have the printed book and then you send it to have the metal cover. So I need to have them in hand. So we'll have to see, that Brian Vela cover that we just showed off. I really want that one in metal for myself. I have my Maria Wolf one back here already. Really, I only do these things so I can collect, the stuff. That's really what it's about. So I definitely want that one in metal. So we'll have to see how we can get that going, because again, they actually take your printed cover and then they adhere the metal to it after they print it out. So it's a little bit different than other processes where they would just print it and send it to you, if you wanted that peek behind the curtains. But we worked with Fairy Photography, which was recommended by my awesome metal brethren, Matt Knowles. Has used them many times on his campaign. He also has a campaign right now. We're going to pull it up because we want to shout out our friends. Maybe I should have invited him on here. He has a campaign going on for the next few hours. So again, if you're tuning in before 7 p.m., he has a all ages book called Misfits Clubhouse. I'm going to pull it up here and I'm going to put it in the chat. Sharks, Dragons, and Little Red Wagons. I'm going to put it in the YouTube chat for anybody who's interested, because Matt's become a good friend. He's a confidant. He really helps me. Again, I mentioned he's the one who turned me on to Fairy Photography and their awesome metal covers. That's a long URL, but you can search the word Misfits with a Z right here and find it on Kickstarter if you can't click the link. But I did want to share that out because they have a couple hours left. I'll probably be jumping in there as soon as I'm done in their chat as they count down their Kickstarter as well. I wasn't able to tomorrow, so I wanted to jump on today, and I'm so glad we funded so that we could jump on together. But yeah, I wanted to shout out my buddy Matt and Stephanie, his awesome partner in their amazing company, In Symmetry Creations. They've really helped me through all these processes. I wouldn't be here without them. And of course, you, the amazing backers, all the viewers, all the subscribers to this YouTube channel, all the followers on Twitter. The last 2 days have just been a flurry of shares and likes. And wow, I mean, we literally, we can't do it. We can't do it without you. We just, especially with social media, we don't have the reach to get that out there, and just to see all the likes. Oh, and we have a special guest, just like a singer in a band. He is fashionably late.
I am your Axl Rose.
Yeah, I was just signing off. You know, Bob Gar joined us, but he was having technical difficulties, so I'm glad you were able to jump in, so they don't have to listen to me blather too much.
I was having technical difficulties in the form of 2 children that I had to get out the door. So sorry, I was trying to get here earlier, but yeah.
No worries, sir. Yay! Hooray! I'm glad you came on to celebrate. Celebrate again. Third time's a charm. We and I was telling a couple of the viewers, so nice. We funded twice in one day. You know,
yes.
who can say that, right?
You know, well, because there was 2 comics here, so they were like, let's let the finish line be crossed 2 times, and they can share it.
Exactly. There you go. But yes, obviously, you know, I was just sharing. It's just been a flurry of shares and likes and retweets and all that. You know, that happens at the end of a campaign, but you know, you never know. People get busy, people have lives, and just to see how many people have gone out of their way, you know, to share our stuff. You know, Charlie Stickney from Scout, you know, was shouting us out, and I was just mentioning my buddy Matt from In Symmetry Creations, and just so many people. I hesitate to even mention any because there's just a laundry list of people that have went above and beyond. So we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, honestly, you know, this is 3 issues deep now. This is not our first rodeo with this, and people keep coming back and supporting it. It's what keeps it going. It's up to how many backers do we have? I'm trying. Where's my
217?
There it is. Yeah, 217. Love it.
And yeah,
and, love it.
You know, for me, I had mentioned 2 other times I've come close to 200 backers. I think it was like 197 for Drumsticks 2 and 196 for Bulletproof Chicken. But really, Drumsticks #1 is the only one I've ever reached over 200. So to eclipse that again, you know, that just, it really feels good. I mean, we have, you know, 180 or something. I didn't count it, but it's a lot, well into the almost 200s of returning backers. So that feels great. And then, you know, a couple dozen new backers who said, give me all 3 issues, you know, so that's like a great feeling too, right?
Totally.
Once they find it, but yeah.
Well, this issue too, I mean, I was drawing some of it earlier today, like one of the back end pages that I'm past the halfway point and knocking out pages in the back end of 3. It's super fun. I want people to see this thing that we're working on, and because of these 217 and, you know, who knows how many more people, they're going to get to see all that stuff. So it's great. Honestly, it's fantastic. And I also can't wait to see Depowered too. There's going to be a tag team of cool comics. I've never done a Kickstarter where you got 2 comics out of it. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, sir, I don't recommend it.
You know, from my end, it felt great. From your end, maybe not so much.
It's a challenge. I mean, I've done it a few other times, but you know, you think it's a comic. I'm the writer of both, you know, but it is hard, especially, you know, when you can only capture people's attention for a few seconds. It can be difficult to kind of get both in there. You feel like you're you know, you're dual pitching, but you know, again, in this case, I think they lined up okay, and they're both under obviously the Part-Time Comics umbrella, so why not? But and obviously for you, if you have your own built-in audience and you know, you're doing 2 at the same time, I could see it. But you know, for other creators, I don't know if I'd recommend it. It might be better just to take the time to launch 2 campaigns and keep them straightforward. But I don't know if I'll do it again in the future. But
well, I'm just glad that both comics are going to happen. I think it's really cool. You know, it's been awesome. I've gotten messages too from my people who've backed. You know, people who came through like my Patreon or whatever, or just message me on Facebook, and you've all been seen and heard. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'm sure you're gonna love this comic. Geez, we have an Arachnigator, man. Come on, how much cooler can you get than that? And yeah, I can't wait to finish this one and then see all these people again in issue 4 when you do it again.
We'll be right back at it.
Yeah.
But that's good. The success of this campaign, and again, as I was stating, for anybody who's hanging in there with us, the stretch goal is really important. If we can get to 6,000, 6,500, we're set.
Yeah,
I can get Dan paid through issue 4. I'd really like to finish that one beforehand, so we can kind of have maybe even the trade in hand before we. I'd like to. I really don't like to not have the book finished. We've kind of had to do that by necessity for these, and I'd like to in the future have enough padding where we can get all the pages done and then have the book in hand and ready to go, so we can really, because that's kind of what happened with this. I probably should have had you lead with this page, right? I mean, this was the big. I didn't think people are going to go so crazy for this.
Yeah,
just silly little idea.
Yeah,
but, it works out how it's supposed to work out, right?
Well, yeah, this is very much a labor of love. You and I are both, doing our utmost best to juggle dad responsibilities, husband responsibilities, and comics. And again, I mean, it's stuff like Kickstarters and people who support them that actually make this happen. But yeah, man, I'm blazing through these last few pages. This is going to be a really fun race to the finish here. I just can't wait for people to see it. It's really cool. It's just cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I think we found our groove together on these, and again, obviously you're a huge testament to that. I mean, these pages are amazing, and I'm so glad that if anybody's catching this before 9:00 on March 10th, there are pages available. You pretty much would have your pick of the litter for issue 3, including the Arachnigator pages. So you'll have a couple to choose from. So
yeah,
if that doesn't entice you,
I'll show you. This is I got a whole portfolio of Drumsticks of Doom. Get these monster-sized pages. These things are beasts.
Look at that.
11 by 17s.
Oh, wait, let me make you bigger.
Make me bigger. Enlarge. Enlarge. Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool sequences in here. I mean, one of my favorite sequences, obviously the Arachnigator. I don't want to reveal too much, but yeah, the Arachnigator has a lot of screen time. And I did tease this out, so I think this isn't a huge, surprise, but like pages like this where you actually get a werewolf metal band.
I mean, come on, who doesn't want that page?
Yeah, that's killer.
Please, the prices on the pages are very reasonable. Look at that, 11 by 70, fully inked. Again, Dan, you do your digital pencils and then print fully ink, right?
Yeah, I ink traditionally, and I map out the page on my iPad so I can print it off onto paper and blue, and then every line you see is traditional ink on the final pages. It's just setup. I usually do on my iPad first, just to get the pencils even the rough sometimes. Sometimes I don't even go full pencils on some of this stuff. I just like to get to the inking.
Wow. Yeah. So fully inked. That's all Dan's blood, sweat, and tears there.
Yeah.
Again, very, very reasonable prices, and please, you must buy them because otherwise I have to buy every page. Because I want them all.
As part of our
them off my hands.
Yeah, it's just how it went. The devil went, had some rules.
So please, please take them off of our hands.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great pages. I mean, again, John gave me. I think every issue. I think he's giving me more fun stuff to draw than the last one, and I already thought that the previous one was like, oh, cool, like demons, werewolves, metal bands, all this good stuff, and then all of a sudden, Arachnigators, a bunch of cloaked villain people who don't understand fully, car chases. It's all pretty action packed. And there's a really fun story underneath all that. So yeah, any of these pages I would be, sad to lose, but happy that they find a good home.
Yes. So please pick those up. We only have 26 hours to go here. So again, if you're catching this on YouTube afterwards, hopefully you catch it before 9:00 on Friday, the March 10th. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Dan. Actually, Drumsticks of Doom Align, Dan has band practice coming up. So
I do. I have to head right out the door. I went from dumping kids off to kicking myself out of here. So I got to go rehearse for.
Thanks for giving us a few minutes, and I'm so happy to celebrate with you again for the third time. And I'm confident in a couple months, especially with the trade, I think people are gonna want this book for their shelves. So we're spoiler. Dan's cover for issue 3 will be the cover for the trade, the standard cover. So let's get that out there into the world. So you get to look forward to that. But we'll see. We'll have some other fun stuff. We may even do some metal covers of the trade. Who knows? We'll see where we go. But yeah, Dan's hauling through the pages. We fully plan to be on schedule. We'll get this out in May, and then we can fire up that 4th issue and the trade together, and then Dan can be like, never call me again. I'm
going to move out of town. Never tell anyone. Just to duck one man.
Yeah, I mean, I've already started on issue 5, so I'm hoping we can get through issue 9. So each issue really it keeps us going.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thanks, Dan. We're going to sign off, and I guess I'll see you in a couple days.
Yeah, get some wise blood on.
Take it easy, Dan.
Take care.
All right. We thank Dan for jumping on here. We thank Bob for jumping on whenever he can contribute again. Bob has done so much. I literally wouldn't be sitting in this chair talking to you about comic books if it wasn't for Bob Gar. And now Dan, all these awesome artists and collaborators that I work with. I really, really, really appreciate them all, and I appreciate all of you. Again, if you can't back the books, sharing, all that stuff really just keeps us going. Each book feeds into itself. We don't have a slush fund or anything to pull these funds from. So we really need the funding with each one. So if you did miss the campaign, all these books are also available on our web store. That's parttimecomics.storenv.com. So they are up for pre-order there as well. Let me pull that up for you before we sign off here. .storenv.com. All right. And yeah, those are all up for pre-order as well on the site. So now those are, we can guarantee nobody has to worry about these books not coming out or anything like that. We've reached our funding. We're good to go. So again, if you missed the campaign, you're happy to be checking this out and you want to, you're excited about these books, pick it up on our web store. We are also, as you see down here, Linktree, Part-Time Comics. You can find us out there. We got our new shirt in. Thanks, Bob, for the logo. Not available to the public yet, but if you do want one of these, let me know. I'll hook you up. All right. Thanks, everybody.